Hello and welcome to Talkin Baseball, February 13th, Monday episode. Yu Darvish, Miami making another trade. Jake's Peralta signs. Let's do it.
Dodgers.
Hello and welcome to Talkin Baseball. It's episode number 600 on the nose. How about that? That's cool. It's brought to you by SeatGeek. Code Talkin helps you out over there. And we got some news. Super Bowl is over, so people like to say it's baseball season now. That's a thing that's kind of really popular these days. Jake, wedding season for you.
Trevor, James, Davis, yes. Couple 5 days away or something like that. Already legally married, so that part's kind of a boner, but excited to do it with some fiends and family. And yeah, Super Bowl's done. I love my Dodgers. Me and Trev's Dodgers sneaking in a couple moves. And yeah, you're right. People do love. I got excited for our social media team because they were going to get to do like, it's baseball season. And it's baseball season, Trev.
I think basketball's happening too right now. So we share part of it. But yeah, spring training. I think pitchers and catchers are reporting like today or tomorrow, which is awesome. Spring training's here. So you definitely get the feel that we are on to something. And we're still getting some news. This has been the most consistent news cycle of any offseason. It's just been kind of like little drips here, little drips here, little drips here. We've had a couple big flurries, but today we got the Darvish stuff to talk about, some of the trades. It's going to be good. I'm excited to chop it up. And then I got the Wednesday episode all by myself.
Ooh.
As you guys take off on this beautiful vacation for Jake's wedding. Someone's got to work.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You never go on vacations.
What's up, James?
It's not really baseball season.
No,
it's not. Yeah, it's
like
basketball
it's such like a little brother thing baseball fans do, because we still got so long until baseball season.
It's 6 weeks till baseball.
It's
season,
6 weeks till baseball season, and we got some news today, but the first week of spring training is fun, very fun. Hopefully, the World Baseball Classic is fun, and then you got the slog of spring training,
gets us there.
And then it's almost like a trick because I was like, it is baseball season. I was like, wait, hold up. We got a little bit to go.
So got like another week till everyone's reported, and that first couple days after is good, but really, kind of overrated.
I'm sneaky. WBC's getting me.
It hasn't hooked me yet.
Rosters and stuff. I'm kind of in, man.
Yeah, it has not gotten me yet. I'm gonna watch, but I'm not.
Can't say you're excited.
I was excited when I found out Yankees weren't playing in it. I'll put it that way.
Interesting take there.
Well, because we've had so many injuries. The Yankees have had 3 to 5 guys get hurt in the World Baseball Classic in its years.
That first one, they got crushed.
So when Severino got told he couldn't play in it, I think we talked on Talking Yankees. I was like, I wouldn't let him. He's coming off injury. So I am excited. We'll see how it's managed. DeRosa's managing Team USA, right?
Sure.
Yes.
All right. Yeah.
Captain America.
I like it. We'll see what happens. I mean, with that kind of lineup and stuff, you don't really got to do much, right? Just kind of like let them play, let the boys play a little bit.
Well, sometimes it's like spring training, like rotations, and this guy's going to get in, this guy's going to get in, and guys are only going 3 innings, and then you got Taiwan or Japan fucking throwing complete game shutouts, and it's like, all right, there's 2 different levels of care here.
4 years from now, could I see Trevor Plouffe coaching Team USA?
Dude, I should have done. I thought about this because I'm 36 now, right?
Right.
I don't got a lot of
life
athletic real years in front of me. Once you hit 40, I don't think I'll be able to strap up the cleats and get out on the field and do things. But I feel like I could still perform now, not to the same levels I used to. But I was trying to think I should have tried to go play for some random country. like some of these guys do. Like, when's the next time I'm going to get to play like real competitive baseball? Probably never. So I kind of fucked that one up a little bit. Even though I don't know where I would play. There's no French team.
Well, that's what you got to go be an ambassador.
We sneak you into Curacao or something like
that?
I
was trying to think.
There's a Czech Republic team that, I don't know. Yeah. Do they and the French get along?
Well, what's your do 23andMe and find out who you are?
I have.
Okay, so what do you got?
Nothing that's in a World Baseball Classic. I'm French.
If he converted to Judaism,
Native American,
could he be on the Israeli team?
You'd have cracked our team.
You just have to convert.
Yeah, I got to convert.
Well,
the thing is, I already converted once.
You just got to say you want to play, I think, and we'll take.
Vance wore these playing for Great Britain.
Jock's
Great
like
Britain.
the face of Israel.
I can
we had
get
a
you on
couple
Great
arms.
Britain.
Darren Sammy, St. Lucian cricketer, could play for Great Britain right now if he applied.
Yeah, get me on Great Britain. See if that could be a late roster addition.
Man.
I just went 1-for-1 in my alumni game. 3 shutty innings.
Ryan Lavarnway's on the squad.
It's the 2026 WBC, and your team USA is against my team Italy in the finals. We're both coaching.
Oh my god!
I forgot Team Israel has Danny Valencia, and I was like,
"Yeah,
Trev knows him."
Yeah, I do know Danny. Daniel, I call him.
Daniel. Who's Daniel?
Know what other event is coming up? The Daytona 500.
Oh.
And by the way, we've got some of our people are going to the Daytona 500. Jack and Zoe. You may know them from We Got Ice. And it's going to be some of the best content you've ever seen.
I think they're playing wiffle ball in the infield of the track.
NASCAR's like hooked it up for us. It's going to be sick. So check out their stuff and make sure you check out the race on the 19th, the day after my wedding, the day after Jimmy's birthday. We'll be buckled up watching as there's 100,000 plus people down there for the Daytona 500. It's truly one of the more unique events in sports. It's not baseball season. It's Daytona 500 season. And this year, it's more special. It's their 75th anniversary. Wow. Time flies when you're having fun.
I always forget they were around before cars.
Park yourself on the couch for the afternoon and tune into the Daytona 500 Sunday, February 19th, 2:30 p.m. Eastern on Fox. Wonder if Jeets will be on the call. He's a Fox guy now.
Yeah, he's a Fox guy now, huh? How about that?
I got a text yesterday from one of my buddies. And
Yeah.
He said, "Hey, I got some news for you guys if you want to break it." And I said, "Oh, I guess. Like, what do you got?" And I didn't see anything at the time. He goes, Jeets is about to be announced on Fox. I'm like, "Oh, cool. Like, I'll tell our social team. Maybe we'll break it." I log on to social media. I'm like, "Bro, 7 minutes ago they announced it. You could have given it to me like an hour ago or something. That would have been cool."
He was worried.
It's going to be interesting. They're trying to do like A-Rod and Jeter together talking is going to be something.
Them and
Poppy.
Poppy.
Jeter.
Is that nostalgic for you guys as Yankee fans?
Jim's so disappointed in him. Jim can't believe he's like in the game.
Yeah. When Bruce Springsteen started doing like a sit-down interviews, my dad was like devastated. He was like, "Bruce, you don't do this." Like,
too cool for
I remember being like,
this.
"What, Dad?" He was like, "He doesn't do this stuff. He's a blue-collar singer, does his music." And it was after 9/11, he did the album, and he did like a sit-down. And my dad, the big Bruce fan for years, was like, "What?" Jeter is doing some crazy shit right now. He's everywhere.
Yes.
I don't get it. And he's notoriously a nothing interview. What's he going to bring?
It might change. It might change, James.
Well, yeah, but I'm interested.
He was doing the nothing interviews.
Yeah.
As a performance. So, I don't know. He clearly, ever since whether Cooperstown or the documentary or, I don't know, couple kids running around, Jeets is back in the game. I love it.
I need to see. I can't make a judgment now. I need to see how he does. I'm not going to praise him already. I'm not going to say he's bad.
I've seen Jeets in front of a lot of cameras in my lifetime, and if he's trying to compete with Rod, Poppy, and Frank, I think he's going to do all right.
I think so, too. That's a good point.
Yeah. That's a good call.
Don't come on this show, Jeets.
Yeah, you don't want this.
So this is only big enough for one former shortstop.
Ooh.
Should we grab Jeets Wednesday?
And we've got a third baseman too, in Trev.
Oh.
What do you guys want to start with?
Yu Darvish
Yes.
signed his third 6-year deal. Is that a record? How many other guys? Because people have signed longer and shorter deals, but people have signed 18 years worth of deals. But have any other players signed 3 6-year deals in their career? He signed a 6-year deal with the Rangers and a 6-year deal with the Cubs and now a 6-year deal with the Padres. This kind of took me by surprise. I've been saying all offseason the Padres, I thought they were going to go get pitchers because Darvish and Snell or Musgrove, maybe not Snell, they're coming up. Musgrove's got his last year. So Snell then, we're coming up. They were losing a couple free agents. And instead of losing Darvish, they signed him for 6 years, $126 million. Kind of a sneaky one. I told Jake we were in the warehouse together on Thursday, and you were like, what? Like, you're like, whoa, that's
stoked.
Good for him, but a little don't see it coming. The AAV is pretty low. Well, how old is he, and what age does this take him to?
Yu Darvish is currently 36. He'll turn 37 in August, and this basically takes him through age 42, which, hey, we're coming off the Super Bowl. Maybe Tom Terrific changed everyone's expectancy in sports. I don't know, man. I'm happy for you. I'm happy for the Padres because right now it just adds to the pot of like, all right, we're all in on literally everything that's going on here. And we just did our all underrated teams. Yu Darvish, he's one of the first guys I said it a lot with. Like, he's kind of, I think his career in general is kind of underrated. Going back to when he was with Texas and, some funny business in the World Series with the Dodgers, Cubbies, to now. He's pitched a lot of Major League Baseball that, I don't know. I guess I was excited that Yu Darvish wants to twirl it till he's 42. Or he was just like, hey, I'll take that money.
You guys were giving out a lot of money earlier in the offseason.
I'm in.
And you have some left over. The guys at Codify Baseball have been all over Darvish's stats. His 2-strike stats are like as impressive as it gets. I didn't know that. It's a very nuanced thing. But if you get to 2 strikes, if Yu Darvish gets you to 2 strikes, you're pretty much fucked. I'll try to pull up the numbers. Sorry to cut you off, Trev.
Yeah, because you don't know. I mean, he has so many pitches he can go to and speeds. It's impossible to set up a game plan against Yu Darvish. We talked about that before.
This was it. They've been tracking MLB pitches since 1988, and no pitcher with 200-plus starts during that time has allowed a lower batting average or a lower slugging percentage with 2 strikes than Yu Darvish. So good for him.
He had a great year last year, too. Almost 200 innings pitched. His strikeout rate was high. His walk rate was low. Jakey loves ERA still because he's an old school guy like that. 3.10. Do you like it?
I do like that.
I like it.
Jake, when's butter knife it even better?
When's the last time you looked at his nude photo shoot?
30 seconds from now.
Okay. Trev, why don't you redo his shoot yourself?
I don't know what you're talking about. I was going to say something, though.
You haven't seen Yu Darvish's nude photo shoot?
He's young there.
Well, do you want me to do it or like photograph him doing it again?
No, I want you to do it.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you don't see his wiener, right?
No, yeah, you don't see his wiener. But the cover of the magazine is him in bed, and then
he's a little younger than I like there.
Okay. You like your nude photo shoots older?
Yeah, how old is he in this?
Oh, I mean, he's definitely going to replicate this at some point.
Okay.
But
you better start now.
Trev Darvish extension.
This deal takes him, speaking of extension, this deal takes him till, the age 42 season, but he's got a new elbow in 2015. So really, we're talking about maybe not so much wear and tear on that part of his arm. But we talk about guys training differently now. We've seen a couple examples of guys in their 40s doing the damn thing, and teams are more willing than ever. Can you imagine, 2 years ago, us talking about a team giving someone a contract through age 42, especially a starting pitcher. That just doesn't happen, dude. And now all of a sudden we're seeing that. We're seeing teams willing to commit. How many guys this offseason signed a contract that led into their 40s? Like five or six? I don't know if like people's thought process has changed as far as like age and being able to be competitive. But we at one point were saying the athlete's prime, baseball player's prime was 28. When I was playing, that's what they said. And then all of a sudden, during my career, they said, nah, actually 28 is a little too old. We're more like 26. That's your prime. I'm like, what the fuck?
That's nonsense.
What happened? Now, who knows? Your prime doesn't matter how old you are, bro. Go out there and do it. And that's how it should be. You can't put this stupid freaking, made up number out there. So this is your prime. No, everyone's different. I think people are starting to realize that people work different. Their bodies are different, and you're going to get different results from it. I mean, Yu Darvish at 35 just had one of his better seasons, and they're banking on him to continue to do that. And like as you mentioned, the $18 million AAV, it's a good chunk of change, but that's a three or four starter AAV right now, and it's only going to get more. So I mean, the Padres they're doing it, man. They're spending.
There's the dude is a gem for the sport. I mean, 2.7 mil follows on Twitter.
Yep.
The dude has his own YouTube where he's got like 500K subs. We are on the front lines of, there's a lot of people out there that are still, baseball is dying. Baseball is not cool. Like, wrong. Gotcha. And Yu Darvish is like a big member of that, man. He's got international power. He's got power over here. And he's with this fun Padres team that I hope we're seeing Yu Darvish in some big games, at least the next couple of years. And yeah, the money's funny, man. The money's funny because we were going for these AAVs and less years, right? Because we didn't want to run into those contracts. And then I think when push comes to shove and you start doing that game of chicken, the teams would rather stretch it out another year or two. And just say, hey, we'll deal with that when we get there. If they're still performing at some level, like you're saying, the money ends up looking okay. Like, look at the way we've talked about Bryce Harper and Machado's contracts. If you told us, if Manny Machado has a good year this year, he's going to opt out. And if you had told that when he signed it, we all would have said, you're bloody. Whack.
You're bloody.
So, it continues to move, Trev. And that's why could have been your WBC, man. I don't know.
You know what I say about Darvish? He needs to hunt accolades.
Okay.
I think he's going to be the best Japanese if he, continues next 3 years. I think he's going to be, as his last couple, I think he's going to be the best Japanese starting pitcher. You had Nomo, but I mean, Darvish is pretty.
By like total volume. Yeah.
Yeah, even like career ERA, career stats are pretty good, but he hasn't won a Cy Young. No Japanese pitcher has ever won a Cy Young. I'm sure that would make him like a superhero if he does that. He's doesn't have a lot of like cool bold on his Baseball Reference. He led the league in wins in 2020. Doesn't count. And led the league in FIP in 2020 as well. Doesn't count.
He's got a strikeout title.
Year 2, he got the
strikeout title.
That's
the one cool one. But I was expecting more. You go to these pages, so like in these next 6 years, let's rack up some accolades.
2 number 2s in the Cy Young. That's tough.
Play for you.
That's sure. He finished in 2013 behind Scherzer, who went 21-3 with a 2.9. Darvish was 13-9 with a 2.8, and had the strikeout title that year. So that's interesting. A better ERA plus than Scherzer. So I mean, how about 1A, 1B right there? My goodness.
Yeah.
And what the last one in 2020 was?
Bauer was the central.
Bauer, that's right.
All that central pitching. So, yeah, I know All-Star games aren't the be-all, end-all stat, but 5 All-Star games is pretty impressive. You got to be a guy to get to that many All-Star games. And yeah, rack up a couple more. I mean, yeah, I think he currently has the title. A couple more counting stats to catch up to Nomo is cool. And he also has to fend off who's coming in Shohei. So, yeah, you got to put that bar as high up there as you can for now because that other dude's coming.
Should get
it's gonna be fascinating to see how long Shohei like is a starter. I guess we don't really think about that because that's what we know him as. But it's difficult to remain a starter in the big leagues for that long. Like, is he going to transition into some sort of bullpen role? Like, I'm starting to wrap my mind around that. I never really thought about it, but you brought it up, and now here I am.
I didn't bring that up.
Should get his 100th career win this year. Pitchers care about that.
What is he? He's half Farsi or Iran, Japanese.
I think it is Iranian.
Japanese and Iranian. Yeah,
I think so.
I think his dad played for Berkeley or some shit like that. Who was from Iran.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I love this guy. I've told you guys that from day one. Facing him is an enigma. You don't know what to do up there because he doesn't have a fastball that you can like kind of sit on. It moves, changes speeds. He's got the eephus pitch that everyone knows he got me out on. Famous clip there. You can go check that out.
That is a famous. I forgot about
but he's just, it's tough. But, I mean, that's why he's been able to hang around and get 3 6-year deals because he has stuff. He's got electric stuff, but he also can pitch, dude. And when you have that mixture, that's how you get the longevity and I know you said we don't have a lot of accolades, but 5 All-Stars, couple Cy Young too. It's pretty good.
He's got some. He doesn't have 0, but I was expecting more bold or just more because he's been a prominent pitcher for a while, and he's going to continue. For the Padres, they have Musgrove and Darvish locked up for 5 years now. That's kind of cool. No other starters locked up, but then they have a bunch of position players locked up as well. So this window is being extended, which sometimes you don't see teams do it. You see them purposely keep themselves on a 5-6 year window. The Padres are now committing way beyond that, which means if you're paying these guys, you're either going to have a big trade at one point or you're going to go more all in. But either way, still fun to be a Padres fan, I think. I don't think you can be upset about this, can you?
No.
The AAV's low. He's good. Yeah.
Dude, as a fan, you're like, yeah, just keep doing this. Who cares? Like, keep giving all of our good players money so we have these good players. That makes a lot of sense to me.
The Astros also gave one of their pitchers a extension, not 6 years, but 5 years. Not $126 million, but $64 million. Cristian Javier. Now, he had 3 years left of arbitration, so they're buying that out, and then they're going to add 3 more on top of that.
2 more.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's the easier math.
Math pod.
2 more on top of that, which gets him to a decent salary by the end of it. Also,
$21 million the last 2 years. The 2 years of free agency is $21 million each.
Also, I wonder if this hurts or helps if they ever want to trade. The Astros have talked about trading some of their depth pitching. No, he's pretty good. When they were talking about that, they weren't talking about Javier. They were talking about Kitty at the deadline, like trading some of their depth. But now you got money tied to him. When it's arbitration, there's a lot of other factors that people are trading for. So maybe he's around for long haul because that'd be smart to do anyway. He's pretty good in like a very interesting way. I don't know. Astros just bored and they're like, why not do this?
Well,
new GM needed to do something.
You're talking about sneaky having your core locked up. They gave Jordan an extension. Bregman and Altuve are on the books for a little bit. Tucker's kind of the next one coming up, and again, that's always one of my favorite loser Jake baseball exercises. Is like Kyle Tucker on the open market is.
You should have mentioned him on all underrated team.
He's like
he would have fit a qualification.
He's going to set a number, so I wonder if they can figure something out there.
He just lose arbitration?
I'd ask you.
Yeah, I think Kyle Tucker just lost his arbitration case.
Javier last year, 25 starts, a 2.54 ERA, 194 strikeouts, and 148 innings, a 1.52 ERA plus. I think that means there was only 9 starters with a higher or a better ERA plus than him. Man, it's silly, especially when you do these numbers right after Darvish, but it's the arbitration. So, Trev, you mentioned an athlete's prime, and some guys can keep it going. They have Javier through like his non-debatable prime. He's 25 now. This brings him to 30, 31. It looked like it clicked. He's disgusting, and He's locked up for, again, a very affordable price, even though a lot of that's related to arbitration.
I think one of the cooler aspects of this story is, this guy signs at a DR, and, sometimes when you're talking prospects from Dominican or Venezuela, you might get $1 million signing bonus. And then, those guys are kind of fast tracked to the big leagues. This guy signed for $10,000. Coming over, I've been around when you're in the low level minor leagues. There are a lot of guys that sign out of the DR in Venezuela for that kind of money, and they don't get a ton of like real opportunity. I mean, you have to really go off to get that type of opportunity. The people that get the bonuses get more opportunity. That's just the way it is. So for him to kind of like work his way up, and then kind of like be in this transitional role of I'm a reliever, then I'm a starter, I'm back and forth, I'm a multi-inning reliever, and then finally they trust him to become a starter. He has an incredible outing in the World Series last year. $64 million. It's a hell of a payday for old Javier, and he certainly deserves it because his numbers are incredible. And he passes the eye test too. I think that's the fun part of this is like sometimes you're like, well, that doesn't make sense. But when you watch him pitch, like, okay, I understand that. And another great move for the Astros, keeping this core together for so long. I mean, controllable pieces for this long is how you have sustained success. And to answer your question, James, I think this does, if they ever decide they want to trade Cristian Javier, this makes him much more desirable as the money is locked up, 2 free agent years locked up.
Much more desirable to a smaller pool of teams because
I think to any teams like cost control players, and $21 million for, what we consider this guy on any other team, like what, a 2 at least?
Yeah. I just think sometimes you get guys going to like, we've seen the Reds trade for guys before, and we've seen teams that aren't, we've seen the other markets trade for guys that are in the last 2 years, but also you can trade him again or non-tender him or whatever. I don't know. It's decent money being shelled out if you're not one of the top third teams that doesn't care about that. But yeah, if you're a contender that's going to be looking for someone of his caliber, then I think it is better. It's kind of everything in baseball though. Like, I don't know. I don't see the Marlins taking this on. But we've seen.
Well, I don't see them trading him at all.
Me neither.
They're yeah.
It's interesting they do this. And then Tucker loses his arbitration, which was
they seem to be decently far apart.
Yeah, the farthest apart of the year. Bichette was far apart. It was $2.5 million apart, I think.
He loses and got $5 million. He filed at 7.5.
Yeah, but it was his first year of arbitration, so they have nothing to really base it off of. Only 3 players have filed their first year and won at that kind of margin. Mm-hmm. But the new GM, Dana Brown, said they want to lock him up to a multi-year deal.
Then do it, bro.
Back-to-back 30-homer seasons for Kyle Tucker. Whoops. He won the Gold
Abraham
Glove last
Lincoln,
year. He stole 25 bases last year.
Yeah. The only team that's been losing arbitration cases this year when they've actually gone through is the Miami Marlins. They took Luis Ariz to arbitration, and they took Luzardo, maybe.
Jim, maybe you need to take your hair to arbitration.
Interesting.
With Roman, because 42% of men experience moderate to extensive hair loss in their lifetime. I got to be honest with you guys. I am starting to fight the battle. It's happening. I get a little age, a little stress. It's all coming together. And Roman is where you need to go. Come join me. Don't wait till it's too late. Get on the front lines now. Roman offers clinically proven medication to help treat hair loss from the comfort and privacy of your home. Some people say privacy. Research shows that 80% of men who use prescription hair loss treatment had no further hair loss after 2 years. Getting started is simple and complete with a free online visit. U.S. licensed healthcare professional will work with you to find the best treatment plan. So, with free 2-day shipping, why don't you go to ro.co/johnboy today, ro.co/johnboy for 20% off. 20% off and free shipping with Roman, ro.co/johnboy. 20% off your first order.
Yep. It was Luzardo. So the Marlins lost their arbitration cases for Arise, who they just traded for, and Jesus Luzardo. The Marlins also just traded for Jesus Luzardo's former roommate, Puk. AJ Puk. They were gonna be the lightning rod that sparked the A's, and they were the top two guys. And now they're both Marlins. And the Marlins traded JJ Bleday, who does have J's in his name, but maybe it was too many J's because they're getting AJ back. So it might be just like a 1J only situation, which I understand and respect. I am worried, though, that they're losing their way.
They still have John Jay there as the first base coach. So
I'm worried about him.
Only two J's, only enough room for a guy with two. I don't know what the hell I'm trying to say.
Yeah, well, this trade's interesting. I mean, Luzardo's like, hey, can you go get my dude Puk? He's kind of just stuck in Oakland.
Former roommates. And
then the A's and Marlins were like, yeah, cool. We don't care.
I don't like to talk about myself ever, but when I was in camp with the A's in 2017, these guys were the next generation. You know, also with Chappie and Olsen there, but these two guys, I mean, that's all you ever heard about was Jesus and AJ Puk, and you couldn't really miss Puk walk around the clubhouse. He had this long hair. He's super tall, as you guys know now. But back then, he was definitely a sight, and my first thought when I saw him was like, fuck, I would never want to face this guy. I feel like I still think that way. And, he's had some success, man, especially last year.
It was good. 62 games, a 3.12 ERA, more strikeouts than innings pitched. You're right, he's a gross lefty on the mound. A little bit of a double entendre, depending how he's tightening it up that week. Yeah, for me, this is two things. The Marlins brought in Luzardo when, they kind of punted on him, and it looked like he might be broken, and you hit that prospect like, uh-oh. And then Luzardo turned in a great year for them last year, and now he's slotted into their 3 spot in the rotation. He had a 3.32 ERA last year for the Fish. So, I don't know. They clearly think they can probably tap into Puk more. I'd have to guess Puk's days as a starter with his injury history are done, but if they think they can tap into him more as a reliever, he can be a 9th inning, 8th inning type guy. But I think the bigger side of this, JJ Bleday, who I mentioned him briefly, we did their team profile and projection, and that's coming out soon. This guy was a big-time draft pick, and he got a cup of coffee last year, and it wasn't pretty. And if you're trading, I think, was he the 3 pick in the draft or top 5 pick in the draft?
Bleday, I think, was the 4th overall pick.
If you're trading that guy away for a player that now looks like they're probably a reliever, even, potentially a high-level reliever, that means they were kind of out on JJ Bleday. So that he's going to Oakland, and maybe he'll get a ton of reps, and that's can be what figures it out. But a potential everyday starting outfielder that's a top 4 pick for a relief pitcher, it means the Marlins were out on JJ Bleday.
Or Oakland really came calling because they can stash him at AAA and delay his service time. Also, 6 years of control. The number there is not going to be good. When you have Puk, who was, I think, getting close to higher arbitration because he was almost a Super 2 situation. So the A's just being as cheap as you could possibly get if this is a move they're reaching out for. Also, you got Jazz Chisholm, future Gold Glover, in center field now.
Right.
And outfield for Miami, so you don't need that. I wonder if Puk's excited. The A's had said he was going to fight for a starting pitcher spot as a lefty, and there's no way he's the third one of 3 lefties in the bullpen for Miami. Talk about arbitration potential, getting a hit, getting the start and being young and all that. If he was able to start with the A's and put up some numbers versus one of 3 lefties for Miami. I wonder if he's excited to get out of Oakland and go with Miami, or the opportunity and the position kind of stinks now for him in from what he was told he was going to do.
I mean, I guess we'll see how it shakes out there, but definitely I think you hit it. You're probably kind of stoked to get out of Oakland, number one. But then you do realize, yeah, like if I was in line to get starts in Oakland, can I get that same opportunity in Miami? We know Miami's pitching depth, their starting pitching depth is there, but this guy is different, and if they decide to give him a look as a starter, I wouldn't be surprised. Or you just put him in some high leverage spots and you can earn a nice chunk of change doing that. If you're racking up some saves or games finished, it's also a way to boost your arbitration. But you're right, James. I mean, as a starter, that's kind of what you want. That's where the money is, and that's where all these guys want to be. If I was AJ Puk, I'd be stoked that I'm out of Oakland. And I'm with a team that's not necessarily like in their highest competition window, but maybe trying to head towards that. But just getting out of Oakland in that situation's got to be a relief. And then JJ Bleday is like, shit.
Yeah. Jake does have a good point, though. To trade that guy.
Because what do the Marlins always need? We talk about it every time we talk about the Marlins. They need hitting. So to trade that guy for a reliever, which you guys mentioned AJ Puk, and hey, maybe they tap into him the same way with Luzardo. Maybe he goes and starts. Go show the world, kid. I think he's lined up for a lockdown type reliever, but like a special get paid reliever if he does it right. Puk has started 8 games at any level since 2018. So I think at some point you kind of have to look in the mirror and be like, hey, I could be a dominant, like, Andrew Miller, like funky 6'7" lefty. And those guys get paid, man. So if I do that for a couple years right, I don't think it's the same equation it used to be with starters and relievers. You'd still love that starters money. We just talked about
when
a
it
couple
comes to
guys.
arbitration, it is.
But man, I think yeah.
And do you feel bad because Bleday's a fellow Vandy guy?
I mean, go Doors, and it's gonna click. And Tony.
You have some inside info now that he's a Vandy boy about JJ Bleday and like maybe his makeup or something, because you're making a good point there on the Marlins side.
Hey, I think the Marlins punted a little early. I think he got his cup of coffee last year. It wasn't pretty in a small sample size, 65 games.
Who takes his reps now for the Marlins? De La Cruz?
Yeah, I mean, Bleday wasn't necessarily penciled in, but they have De La Cruz there. Jesus Sanchez, who got a couple shout-outs last year on Talkin' Baseball, is floating around. So I don't know. It feels like all these with the Marlins, there's these bodies that we've mentioned for a couple years now, and they're looking for something to click, and maybe they know something we don't. But I don't know. Marlins and A's.
Interesting. AJ Puk's one of those guys, with his body type, 6'7", lefty. Bro, throw strikes and throw over 90 miles an hour, and you're going to have a job for the next 10 years. That's how it works. That's how this game works. I don't know if I've ever told this story on Talking Baseball. I think I might have. Glenn Perkins, failed starter in the big leagues, wasn't really working out, gets optioned down to AAA with me 2009 or something. I don't know. He got to the big leagues very quickly, and then kind of was like in a state of transition, didn't know what was going on. I was in the car with him as he's in AAA, and his wife is like, what are we going to do? Like, basically like, is your career over? You just got sent down, blah, blah, blah. And Glenn, stone-faced, said, I'm a left-handed pitcher that throws over 90. We're going to be okay. Mm-hmm. And then sure enough, like 3 or 4 all-star appearances later, he's doing all right. So AJ Puk, man, you got a lot of baseball left in you for sure.
I don't want to jump on a segue here.
Don't do it.
The bike or otherwise, because it's going to circumvent the Dodgers for a second. But Andrew Chafin, 65%, 93-mile-per-hour fastballs, and the other 33% is sliders. And he just got another $6.5 million for my Snakes to keep doing it. Like, and Puk has more than that in the chamber currently. So yeah, Go do that.
Go do that.
Be a lefty that throws over 90, guys. It's easy.
I was looking at Bleday versus older pitchers in the minors. Apparently, Trev, that's a stat scouts really like in the minor leagues. How do you perform about guys that are older than you? Because I keep hearing people talk about this, about these young kids. Like, he's the youngest one in the league, and he's hitting, blah, blah, blah. I checked out your numbers. You were great against older pitchers, Trev.
Whoops.
Dude, yeah, give me all the old guys, 100%.
Well, I think it's like when you're
Why do they like that?
Because, like, you're
coming
up the ranks faster than them and still dominating them. JJ Bleday, opposite. He's not good against the older guys. Maybe Trev, you sucked against younger pitchers in 2010 in the minors. Just letting you know.
Those guys couldn't throw a strike, though.
How old were you in 2010?
24, 23 to start the year.
So those guys were young. You only had 20. You only had 69 at plate appearances.
For me, I wanted guys that were around the plate. And the older guys definitely are around the plate more. That's what they tell you. I mean, when you're in AAA, this is like a phrase that they'll use a lot. Like, this guy's going to be better in the big leagues. I'm like, why? Big leagues is hard. Well, they throw more strikes in the big leagues. So if you're a guy that struggles with a little bit of plate discipline issues, you get to the big leagues, they're going to kind of like just hammer you with fastballs and see what you can do. So a lot of guys have more success that way. And then they start understanding they can expand the zone on you and stuff. But that's why I like the older pitchers, because they were around the zone more.
Makes sense.
Go Chafin.
Good for Chafin.
Easiest league to hit in.
Their lighting's better. And all the other stuff
balls.
that he says.
Oh, although they use big league balls in AAA now, that's nice.
It is nice. Replay
Dude,
system.
Chafin, nice seven career WAR. Okay.
Snakes, baby. Let's go.
Second go around over there.
Oh no, we're down 2-1 in the 5th inning. Here comes Melanson. Here comes Mantiply. Here comes Ginkle. Here comes Chafin.
Don't say Ginkle on the show ever again.
Good game.
Longo, homer, walk off.
Oh, extend the lead. I had them up. That's why they were using their good pen.
Oh, okay. I thought you said down 2-1.
Longo still walked it off, though.
Oh, okay.
Sounds pretty dope. We play for rings in the desert. If somehow the Snakes aren't in it come the trade deadline, Mantiply, Chafin, Melanson, Kevin, G, Miguel Castro ended up there.
Interesting.
How about that?
Speaking of Snakes, Coach Trev's Snakes defeated James Loney's Cubs in our first game of the West Hills Little League.
I mean, can we hire a beat reporter to be on this? You and Loney competing?
I got some, I want to dish out some dirt. Loney was late. I was there 8 a.m. with my kids in the batting cage. Loney strolled up.
Do that.
About 8:45.
Don't do it. That's his style.
The assistant coaches were there. He said, "Yeah, I delegate."
Oh, see,
not me. I micromanage, baby.
Can we have
sick of your style?
Could maybe your sweet Isla cover the game for us and report for us next week? I would love to hear her 3-day late report from the game.
She was there. We have a girl on our team. Shout out Presley. She roped one off of me for like a double down the line during coach pitch. And I love it because now Isla's watching her and saying, I want to play. So it's cool.
Okay.
That is cool.
Know what else is cool? Before we talk about Trev's Doyers after talking about my Snakes.
And then Trev's going to tell us what all he remembers about Kenny's Vargas.
Vargas!
Yeah, I will.
Kenny Vargas had some pop.
Kenny's.
Blue Moon.
Oh, great commercial by Blue Moon yesterday. They stole the show.
They were a winner.
About it. Blue Moon. That's because they're with us, Trev. They're the winner's beer. That's not in the read, but you got to believe that.
The winner's beer.
Mm-hmm. Blue Moon Spring Train. It's baseball season, people. We can't drive it home enough. It's baseball season. Go get yourself a Blue Moon with a little Valencia orange peel.
Oh.
You know, Trev's a man of high taste. Don't just grab a rando orange.
No.
Don't grab yourself a Bodega orange. Get yourself a Valencia orange.
A Bodega orange.
Treat yourself with the Blue Moon. The Belgian wheat ale is a one-of-a-kind beer, and it's just made brighter. You know, crafted carefully, full-flavored, refreshing notes, and a smooth, creamy finish. And you can get it delivered, people. That's what I'm talking about. Get.bluemoonbeer.com/baseball to see all your delivery options. I'm interested in that. It's get.bluemoonbeer.com/baseball. Get it delivered. In the words of my pops, don't drink and go out, drink and stay home. Or do whatever you want. Celebrate responsibly. Blue Moon Brewing, Colorado. Golden, Colorado. The Dodgers. Or Blue Moon, whatever you guys want. Are the Dodgers the blue moon of baseball?
Well, I thought he was going to talk about Kenny Vargas.
Kenny Vargas!
What do you want to know about Kenneth? Who did he sign with again? Did he sign with somebody? He did. Kenneth Vargas was, kind of how Avisail Garcia's mini Miggy. This was mini Poppy. And he could hit the shit out of the ball. Tell you that much. Switch hitter. When he gets in the groove, smash baseballs with the best of them. But there was a lot of places he could go as a pitcher that would get some swings and misses. That's what I remember about Kenneth.
What's the most amount of triples you ever had in one game?
Oh my gosh, what? One?
Gotta be one.
No, you had two.
Why are you looking at my stuff? It makes me really like.
You don't like when I look at your stats?
900
no, because
OPS against Yu Darvish.
They're not great.
Trev, I'm hyping you up. You had two triples in one game. You had 3 different games in your career, minors and majors, where you had 5 RBI, and one of them, I was looking, came off 2 triples.
Probably like doubles.
Big league game?
Doubles, but
no, minors.
Okay, only mine. Yeah, I don't remember that.
Well, one was off Ian Kennedy.
Seasons.
So basically, show.
Do you remember?
I
that?
like Ian Kennedy. I'm not gonna talk poorly about him.
You can just say like, yeah, but what a triple I hit.
Neat.
Nice triple. I pumped him too in the show. Big one. Oof.
Off speed.
Change up 2-1. Chase Field before the humidors got that ball and made it a dead park. That thing used to be a launching pad. I put it in the orbit out there.
And then Scott Strickland, you hit a triple off him in the 9th. You probably didn't want to leg that out, but you did.
Gamer.
Long strided by the end.
You probably knocked him, ruined his baseball career. He was trying to make a comeback. Hadn't pitched in 4 years in the minors. Gives up a triple to 8-hole. Trevor Plouffe, second baseman.
Hitting in the 8-hole?
You were hitting in the 8-hole.
Don't say that. He didn't.
Well, I think you just got bumped up to AAA or something. I don't know.
Okay. I could see that.
Trev,
Why did you ask me about Kenny's Vargas?
Because
how did you get there?
The day you had 5 RBI in the majors that game, you were hitting cleanup against the White Sox behind Joe Mauer. And I was like, fuck, that's cool. Trev's cleanup behind Mauer. And behind you was Kenny's. How do you say it? Kenny? It's not Kenny.
Well, it's Kenny, but we call him Kennis.
Kennis. Well, there's an S at the end of his name. Kennis Vargas. Yeah. He was hitting behind you.
That's some real pop.
Yeah.
It's real pop.
He hit a homer in that game as well.
But I've seen his name around the interwebs circulating. I think he might have signed a deal. And he's always over on social media putting his swings on there. So if you want to go check that out, follow Kennis Vargas on IG.
Trevor Plouffe triples on a line drive to right fielder Shelley Duncan. Garrett Jones scores. Luke Hughes scores. Matt Macri scores. Bases loaded triple.
Matt McCree,
yeah. And then Trevor Plouffe triples on a line drive to right fielder Matt Carson. Probably dove for it, missed 9th, trying to be a hero.
Matt Carson, that's a name right there.
Cincinnati Reds signed slugger Kennis Vargas for 2023.
There you go.
Hey.
Trev, they made
I thought that's what you were leading me into. This was just a random Kenny's Vargas name drop.
Yeah, I was just looking at your stats.
He's in the box score.
We kind of did all of our topics, so I was just...
missed arguably the biggest one with the Dodgers signing two good major leaguers.
Did we just straight skip it? It was in the middle?
Yeah.
I think it's under there on our sheet.
Trev.
It is the next one. They made you bunt against Ian Kennedy. That's weird.
Enough Trev. He sucks. He's talking to us now. Peralta and Alex Reyes. Dodgers, Trev. 30 minutes on the clock. Let it rip.
I can just talk about Alex Reyes forever. My friend I met in Denver at the All-Star Game CAA party. It's a great move for the Dodgers. I mean, you're buying super low on a guy that has, big time potential. I know he's been injured, but $1.1 million for a guy that, like I said, has that potential, I think is a good deal. You have also a team option for $3 million more next year. There's some incentives that can bump it up, but you're taking a flyer on a guy that has the stuff, and you believe that you can work with him and get something out of him. So I like that. And then Peralta out there in the outfield mix. I mean, that's your guy, bro. This is your guy, Jake. Sure and is. Seeing him in Dodger blue, kind of like it, giving him more options out there. I think there's quite a few different options for the Dodgers. None of them, gonna, get you off the seat or anything like that, but that doesn't make any sense. But you know what I'm saying. A lot of intriguing options for the Dodgers in the outfield.
Peralta last year had a positive OPS plus. He got traded over to Tampa, and he had a bad run there, but still on the season he had a positive OPS plus. And he had tough splits last year. So, that's either, all right, maybe something was happening versus lefties, or Peralta, the thing that surprises you about him, he's 35. So, he got called up kind of later, so I think in a normal baseball fan's head, you picture him being 30, 32, 33. He's 35. He's going to be 36 in August. And I wonder, hey, maybe worst case, if he's a platoon guy, who are the Dodgers, right? The Dodgers love to play a good matchup, so maybe he's done versus lefties, and that's it. Or they'll tap into him, and he's still good. This is a guy that he was on our radar because the Yankees had needed a lefty left fielder, and David Peralta checked that box. Hey, there's obviously some risk there because he's 35, and, that can be tough sometimes. But now that the Dodgers are in on him, guy has a Gold Glove and a Silver Slugger already in his basement. I don't think he's coming for that, but how many times have we seen the Dodgers tap into guys? So wouldn't be surprised if we're talking about David Peralta having at least a positive OPS plus and contributing to what'll be one of the best teams in the league.
We got Mookie Betts out there. He's going to be in the lineup every day in the outfield. Then you have, Chris Taylor had a tough year last year, so I'm sure they'll look for him to bounce back. But other than Mookie Betts, there's a lot of guys who are just, maybe platoon guys. I mean, is Trace Thompson, can he become a thing in center field? That'd be cool. But it's definitely not a sure thing. You got Jason Hayward there as a non-roster invitee to camp. It's not typically what you expect from a Dodgers team to go out there with two outfield spots kind of unspoken for, and you're going to mix and match all year long. Doesn't make a lot of sense, but they're the Dodgers, and I'm sure they'll figure it out.
I just thought of Ohtani. Dodgers just seem to be
Are they punting 2023?
No, but they're just not doing like normal. They're just doing all these 1-year deals. Like they had like $50 million on the books this year. That's going to come right off next year. So any hole they had or perceived hole that they think they had, they are filling it with 1-year deals. And it's a common thought amongst baseball people is they are just about to pounce on Ohtani and playing this offseason for the Ohtani sweepstakes. It should be wild. But yeah, I mean, they got so much money on for just 1 year.
Are you guys in the camp that Ohtani's going to be traded during the year?
Well, you know what? Spoiler, when the Angels team profile and projection comes out, I believe we talk about that. So we
did talk about it. Okay, we'll save it for them. But I mean, is that what we're going to be seeing from the Dodgers? Like, hey, like let's do what we do. We have a great roster. Let's not like shortchange the Dodgers here just because they have a few unfilled positions. Like, they have a great roster. They're going to be there. And then if you go out and acquire Shohei, like they've done that before. They got two massive names in one trade, 2 years ago, in Trey Turner and Max Scherzer. Yeah. Like that's not out of the realm of possibility for them to go out and acquire Ohtani during the year and then sign into that extension.
I like the Dodgers 2023 lineup and roster, and I think they're going to be good. And I don't think these are bad moves. I just see that pot of money getting committed to just this year and not giving any options or anything for next year. It's all I think about is like, oh boy, I think they're going to go after Ohtani big time.
Might as well.
He's good.
So I'm looking now and like I thought Ohtani spent a little bit of time out in the outfield. He really hasn't spent any time in the outfield. 8 innings and none started. Like just kind of like went out there after he was done pitching or something. Like when did that happen?
I mean,
like when does he go in the game to be an outfielder?
They take him off the mound, put him to the outfield to keep his bat.
That was before the DH Ohtani rule, I guess. Okay.
I don't know. I mean, he obviously can. There's nothing he can't do, but at the same time, like, I'm cool with it. He does everything else.
I'd like to see him out there. You wouldn't?
I almost love it from an Angels perspective. Like, they're asking him to do a lot. Like, hey, we'll have somebody play the outfield, babe. Like,
what if they were like, look, we're not re-signing this fucking guy. There's no chance in hell. Like, let's tell him he's got to play outfield now. Let's just do it. He's not going to be here next year, so who cares? And they just start putting him out in right field every day.
Well, hey, a little showcase in July.
Yeah, why not?
Oh my gosh!
It looks like he went DH to left field, pitcher to right, pitcher to right, pinch hitter to right, pitcher to right, pitcher to right, pinch hitter to right. So yeah, it was just to keep his bat in there for another at bat.
You know how sometimes, like in the NFL, a running back will be on his last year of his contract, and they'll just run him into the ground because they're mean like that. Be interesting to see if the Angels, like, 7th inning comes around, Shohei's at like 100 pitches. He's like, all right, I'm done. And they're like, nah, stay out there, bro. Finish the game.
Closing games on his throw days.
You got it. Yeah, your bullpen day. Well, why don't you throw your bullpen on the mound? It's the same thing.
Save those bullets, baby. How cool. I mean, that's the only way he can like one up himself, right? If he competes for the Cy Young as a starter, he racks up like 13 saves, and he plays some games in the outfield.
Yeah, right. The Halos are going to the World Series this year. Let's go.
Why'd you say that, Jake?
I don't think they are going to the World Series.
Oh,
TPP preview.
Yep. All right. That's the baseball news. It's baseball season. Pitchers and catchers report this week. Usually it's right after Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
I think I saw some pictures from today.
Jake
hey, 600 episodes, guys. We celebrated 500. Why not 600?
It goes like 500, 1,000.
We joined.
Yeah, it sucked for 600, you know?
Joined Tomei, A-Rod. We're in the 600 club. A-Rod. Nice.
Jake sucks.
I think Jeter's going to do fine.
A-Rod posted
You spoke so poorly of Jeter today. That's incredible.
A-Rod posted an Instagram where there's just a crowd. I think it's of T-Wolves fans behind him. And he captioned it, "How many people would be here if I hit 700?" And everyone's like, no, man.
I don't even get it.